Hello. So I hope you can hear me okay. I'm recording this using my a video software again because I find it easier than using voice recorder, and uh, you can just use Movie Maker, just click add music and it will just automatically strip the audio from the video and not add the visual. So I'll add this as a to go alongside the visuals. No sounds playing for some reason. I think there was an option to record sounds on the Android screen recording software, and I ticked it, but or maybe it was after making this video, I don't know, but apparently there's no sound. So this provides a good opportunity for me to ramble on. As I hinted at the beginning, I've seen this game before. I imagine you have at arcades. It's quite an oldish game. There's also a I think Nintendo or something variation as well, maybe. So basically, I would like to include this in some of my psychological studies and videos and whatever. But I'd like to start by saying there's a sort of trick in that there can appear to be a trick. Now, of course, you can say certainly there's a sort of standard minimum that is required, such as being able to coordinate your hands at a certain speed, send signals from your brain, whatever. Sure, okay, that's true, guess, but the point being is, it appears to speed up, and you might assume that's more difficult. My point is that's a bit of an illusion, really, because if you think about it, if you can do the minimum. Yeah, it can get harder, but if you do the minimum, I think it's a bit of a trick that makes us think it's harder, and therefore it is harder. You panic and so on. But if you think about it, say the how should we put it? Say there's a grid. I don't know why I'm giving a hypothetical example when there's an example right in front of us, but maybe it will help you understand what I'm going on about. So the points being, say there's a grid, or just use this as an example. It's a yellow block or whatever. So the yellow block, let's say the grids 1, 2, and 3. 3 is on the far end, 2 is in the middle, and 1 is on the far left, or left. Now the brick is moving apparently slowly from right to middle to left to middle to right, so back and forth basically, as you will see on screen. So now you might say, okay, so that's the minimum I was talking to earlier. You need to be able to, okay, I need to coordinate, I need to do this. Now if you can do that and it speeds up, zooming across from left to right and right to left, you think, hang on a minute, I can't see where it's going, but just the thing, it's a graphic, it's not a physical thing. And even for physics, in terms of avoiding falling objects, the same will still apply. But I'll just stick with digital examples for a moment. It's an illusion because you can say, it's going so fast, I can't see when I need to press your you just press the button. It's touch screen, and naturally, so you just touch the screen. When do I press it? Do I press it just before it falls into the middle, if that's where the previous blocks were, so it falls on top? Do I press just before, a second before? Is it so fast that I press when it's actually in the wrong direction, knowing by the time I press? So it's obviously, firstly, it's so unique to the individual, your own speed. There's no master speed. It depends on how you do it. If it takes you half an hour to pick your arm up, then that doesn't put you out of the game. You just plan ahead of time. If you quite feeling quite nervous, and that easily happens on these games. Sometimes your finger twitches and you end up doing it too quickly. Maybe you're trying to plan. Try and not do it so quickly. You're trying to rethink your strategy. So the point being, it's an illusion. It's just one graphic moving from another. It's just graphics changing. It's implying speed, but all you need to do is rethink how you see it. Now, how you see it is up to you. There's all sorts of good ways, but the general point I was trying to make is that it appears to be faster, but as long as you have some sort of reference, and yeah, you know, albeit that reference is getting faster, but do you see what I mean? You can say it's an illusion, but hang on a minute. If it's, as long as it's not superhuman speed, you know, disappearing, you can just use that reference and say, okay, so when it blinks, because it's now going so fast it looks like it's blinking, for example, when it blinks like that, I'll just casually put my hand out. So do you see what I'm saying? You don't actually have to speed up your physical movements. That's just and you don't actually have to and you'll find if you play this game all the way through, you find you'll naturally speed up, and if you play it over weeks and months, you'll accustom. If you're not done these games before. I've actually done, you know, quite similar games before, but it's a bit of an illusion. Do you see what I'm saying? It's, but you know, approach it however you want, whichever way is more fun. And they say you can win bitcoins or it's more satoshis, which apparently I discovered only recently is the currency that makes up a bitcoin. I think there's another one as well, but that's one of them named after somebody. His pseudonym who helped invent bitcoin, I guess. I think it wasn't apparently according to Wikipedia. But you know, do it for fun. I do. So you know, I'd like to start by saying in this video that well, it's not really a start now because I've already started rambling on, but that's okay. That's what life is for. Life is for rambling through forest and what's not. You know, it implies speed. It implies speed, but you know, you do not. It depends on how you approach it. But so I wanted to start by saying, you know, I would recommend instantly you do not do this trying to earn Bitcoin. See it as a bonus, not simply because it might take you years and years, and it's up and down. You can't rely on it as income. But you know, just do it as fun, and you get paid for having fun. So yeah, it's a fun game if you're into this kind of game. I am. I think it's fun. This video I'm showing you, I think I've recorded some others, but be warned, it's very late at night. I think. Was this a morning one? I can't remember, but this is not a particularly good example where it shows you what happens if you fail, and you know, so there's that. But this isn't a good example of showing all the speeds and stuff. So maybe I'll upload the other videos or make some more. But I was, you know, laying on my bed when I was making this, I believe. So I was extremely tired. I spent most of my energy. So I'm sorry if this is not showing you all of the speeds. I think I failed after some of the first hurdles. But it was a good test to see how awake I was despite having, you know, been so tired, having spent most of my energy. So basically, you have to. I also discovered they aren't fussy, you know, about whether it's in the middle. It's up to you to decide. And again, you know, you could say, oh, the end's harder. No, that's an illusion because you just change your point of reference. So it's only hard if you see it's hard, if it makes sense. It doesn't, you know, mean you're confused if you think it's hard. And really it's not. If you think it's hard, it is. But my point is, you know, you can sort of, I guess the common term would be empower yourself, the modern day way of putting it. But whether empowerment or what's not, the point is more about removing influences. So you say on the side, that means you've only got 1 second. Well, for a start, that means you've got more seconds when it's coming from the other side, but also it's just a you know, it implies a structure, but at the end of the day, all you have to do is press it, the screen runs. You just need a point of reference, so you can change that point of reference continuously, however fast, however whatever part of the room you drop the first brick on. I know this might not be a good explanation, so I'll go into more detail maybe another time when my mind's thinking more coherently, but it's an illusion. It implies speed and you know, difficulty. If you, for instance, drop the big brick on the far right, some may say that's more difficult. No, that's an illusion because you just change your point of reference. You just got to see it. It's all just different graphics changing and intermingling and whatever. You know, it's like if a car's coming towards you 200 miles per hour, well, I don't have time to get out of the way. And of course, you know, in real life, you know, that's terrible. That could end in tragedy. But it's just thinking as a hypothetical situation. Well, no, you just move earlier, or you know, the point is there would still be a reference, sound or whatever. So yeah, speed does exist, you know, in senses, but you have to be careful what you imply. Speed can make you panic and think, oh, I can't handle this, but you can handle it. It's actually a bit of a. It takes away some of your freedom and willpower. You actually can do it. You know, and obviously we're talking about games here, hypothetical situations. Don't do anything dangerous. Don't stand in roads where there are fast cars. Obviously, hopefully, needless to say, don't do anything dangerous. Put your life in danger in any way. But you know, in terms of games, in terms of speed, you know, there's a sense this is faster. It's also it's also in practically every video game, as well as other things in life, as I was suggesting. But you know, take role-playing games, Japanese role-playing games especially. There's that whole illusion of things are getting harder, but it depends first on how much you've been playing the game, as in how much you understand it, which way you understand it. Difficulty is an illusion, and in parts because it can impair your abilities, because it pressures you, it thinks you've got to change what you're doing and so on. But yeah, a lot of difficulty is an illusion, just my personal what I've been observing. I'm sure I don't have the complete summary of how human intelligence works, but I think this is something I've been noticing, and this game reminded me when I first started playing a few days ago. I think it was I think they've got about 3 games I've downloaded. I have downloaded one called Alien Run, or Run Alien. I think it's called Alien Run because it's first in my app list now, so it must begin with an A. That's good. You have to do 5 levels. The final level seems to change because I've got to the final level twice and it was different from last time, unless I remembered it wrongly. And there's something about a daily mission. I'll do a separate video so I can go into more detail. And there's one other one, I think it's some sort of brain stimulation game they were saying, but you know, everything stimulates your brain. Some things more than others, some things are more, you know, dull and whatever, but different things excites different people. But yeah, no, so I see it as a fun game. It's a good game. I have nowhere near 1 Bitcoin, which is worth about I think $5,000 now. It was about 11,000, but Bitcoin's taken a bit of a dive recently. So I'm not doing them to. I'm not going to be able to withdraw. I think they said you need a minimum of 20,000 or 200,000 Satoshi before you can withdraw. So yeah. And there was misleading. I think one page it said our threshold is this, and then they said your threshold. But hang on, I this isn't my game. I didn't. How can it be 2 different things? Let's say my account standing, but I don't think there's an upgrade to the account. I think there's only the basic free to play one. But maybe I'm mistaken. But anyway, so that is a bit of fun. You'll notice I left the adverts in. I left the adverts in because firstly, they're wholly because they are part of the experience. And I was thinking, oh, you're going to you might be annoyed, and please hear me out. I was thinking, well, that's a good thing. That's not a good thing. You're annoyed, but do you see what I'm saying? I was thinking, well, hang on a minute. I'm reviewing this application for you, and you can see how annoyed I'm getting by all the adverts, and that's how they earn their revenue. Of course, that's fair enough, but every time you get one, you misplaced a brick, you get punished with an advert and so on. So hang on a minute. If I'm trying to help you decide whether or not to install this app, then I'll leave the adverts in, so it's a more honest account, so you can see, if I download this game with all of these adverts, would I find it interfering, So I hope you understand. I was thinking, make it more of a honest, a full account, little editing done. So very little editing, just maybe chopped a few. I don't know. I think the game took about 20 seconds to load for some reason. I don't know why. So yeah. You also notice sometimes the advert and whatever is not fully load. It doesn't work. I think it happens towards the end of this video. I loaded and I clicked continue. You have accounts down. You have to press before it reaches 0. I pressed, but it didn't load the video, and you can't hear because it did not record sound. But I presume that's one of the times where it's just you hear the audio, and I think it is supposed to play the visual. I think it's a glitch, but it will not play the visual, so you just have to wait. So you may worry that it's frozen up. Just wait a second. Just wait. I think about 20 seconds, or some of the adverts are a bit longer actually. So but once it's actually played the advert, or believes it has played some sort of advert, the continue button will appear. And also, yeah, you counts down, as you'll see at the bottom. It still lets me withdraw without no consequence, really. I mean, oh, well, okay, sure, I can't get any higher, of course, sure, but you still get to redeem the place you were at. So I think it was level 2 on this video. I have got to level 10 or whatever the top was, and no, I have not won the maximum prize. Seems to change randomly, I think. I've won, I think, once the medium, and I think every other time the small prize. Yeah, I've not won the biggest yet. So yeah, I just here's something fun to do. Give it a go. Let me know what you think, and take care of you and your loved ones.